Hi health professionals, how you going? Karen Finnan here, the online physio. So with the growth in telehealth, it's been amazing to make so many new friends in the digital health space. So today I thought I would just make a quick video to introduce myself and give you guys a little bit of background as to what led me into the telehealth world. So growing up, I never actually wanted to be a physio. I indeed wanted to be a ballerina. But in the latter years of high school, it soon became apparent that I was good, but not good enough. So my mum helped me to decide to choose physio as my university course. Now I landed on my feet, and as soon as I graduated, I wanted an excuse to move out of home. And so I took a new graduate job at Kyabram, which is a small country town of 6,000 people in country Victoria. So I left my comfortable home in urban Melbourne and moved to the country, and that was my first taste of rural life. Took a bit of adjusting to, but I ended up absolutely loving it, and that was a hospital-based role. After 2 years, I moved to a nearby town called Echuca, and that was the start of my private practice work. So I worked in a very busy physio private practice in Echuca for a few years. After that time, I then travelled around Australia and ended up in Darwin, right in the north of the country where it's very hot and tropical. And there I worked in an amazing sports medicine practice for a number of years. Now, the amazing thing about that practice was Darwin, the city itself, was about 60,000 people, so it had lots of facilities, but the actual state was very remote, so there were people who were travelling hours and hours just to get to Darwin for medical treatment. So I found that really interesting. After living in Darwin, I moved back to Melbourne, and that was the time when I decided to complete my Masters in musculoskeletal physiotherapy. That proved to be game-changing for a number of reasons, the biggest of which was it was where I met my husband Dan, who was studying sports physiotherapy at the same time. Now from there, Dan got a job in East Timor, a small developing nation off the coast of Indonesia, and I moved there to be with him. Now while I was there, I had to keep myself busy, so I opened up East Timor's first ever private physiotherapy practice, and that was called Physiotherapy Timor. It was an amazing experience. After a few years of Dan and I living there, it was time for us to move back to Australia, but I felt a huge duty of care to the people that I'd no longer be able to look after. These were expats generally, people working with volunteer organisations, with the UN, with the federal police, with diplomats, all those sort of people who'd given up their comfortable life to go and live and help the country of East Timor. So I said to Dan, I wish I could still help these people, and often what they need is just someone to listen to their symptoms and come up with a working diagnosis and then give them a rehab plan to follow. These people are completely motivated to do their own rehab. They just want to make sure they're doing the right thing. I said to him, I reckon I can do that online. And Dan, in his infinite wisdom, said, do it. You should just do it. And so with that, online physio was born. I had a crash course in building websites. I had to hurriedly do a lit review to see if there was actually any evidence that it worked, and the journey continued from there. So it's been a number of years that I've been doing online consults in my entirely online physio practice, and over time I've started to have other health professionals ask me for advice on getting into the telehealth space, and so that's what I really enjoy also spending time doing at the moment. So guys, that's a little about me. I would really love to hear more about you. So feel free to share your story or drop me a line. And I look forward to sharing more information and tips and advice with you next time. Thanks guys. See you later.